Thank you. you move, how you get down. Take it to the dance floor, do it now. Tell the DJ to bring a new sound. Take it right back to the rhythm, let the bass roll out. Show me how you move, how you get down. Take it to the dance floor, do it now. Tell the DJ to bring a new sound. Take it right back. Tell the DJ to bring a new sound. 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 Take it right back.
Unique to the technique.
Do it like that, work it like that, shake it like that, take it right back.
Move to my feet, hit the right beat, make it unique to the technique.
Do it like that, work it like that, shake it like that, take it right back. Take it right back. The dance floor, do it now. Tell the DJ to bring a new sound. Dip to the rhythm, let the bass roll out. Show me how you move, how you get down. Take it to the dance floor, do it now. Tell the DJ to bring a new sound. Tell the DJ to bring a new sound. Do it like that, work it like that. Tell the DJ to bring a new sound. Take it like that, take it right back. Tell the DJ to bring a new sound. Do it like that, work it like that. Tell the DJ to bring a new sound. Take it like that, take it right back. Tell the DJ to bring a new sound. Tell the DJ to bring a new sound. Take it right back. Tell the DJ to bring a new sound. Tell the DJ to bring a new sound. Take it right back. Tell the DJ to bring a new sound. Tell the DJ to bring a new sound. Take it right back.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the VALORANT Low-elo Challengers Cup 2 playoffs. Tonight, we've got two incredible matches going down. First, it starts with MINJI versus DSS Gaming. Then we finally get a long-anticipated Red Panda Gaming versus Salvation matchup. Joining me for the first matchup tonight in MINJI versus DSS is Nick. How you feeling about this matchup, man?
Hello. This is definitely a really exciting one. I mean, these are two teams that have shown us that are both really good and both have a lot of chances to make it to the end. And they're getting to verse each other, I mean, fairly early.
Yeah. And I like the word that you used there, early, as well, because I think in a lot of people's pick'ems, they have both of these teams making it pretty far. Some people actually have MINJI winning the tournament, some people have DSS winning the tournament, and some just have both of them making it to the finals, which is just awesome. Now, I want to dig deeper here and talk about MINJI as we go into the matchup. Now, tonight, I think it's safe to say, Nick, that they finally met their match. Now, previously, MINJI has went against teams that they were favorited against, but tonight they're going up against who I think is one of the strongest teams in this tournament, and for the first time in my mind, this team are not the favorites to win. I actually think DSS has the edge in this matchup given how round one of these playoffs went. We saw MINJI play 3 days ago in their opening playoffs match against Celestial Titan, and although MINJI took that series 2-0, both maps were very close. And the thing is, the first map in that series was on Sunset, and it was a comeback. If you look here, Celestial Titan had that map at round 20, where it was 12-8 in favor of Celestial Titan, but MINJI wins 6 rounds in a row at the end to clinch the map win. Now, this detail is important, and I emphasize it, Nick, because this series could have entirely went the other way had they not found the comeback on this map, and they're in this series tonight by the skin of their teeth. What are your thoughts on MINJI?
I mean, having seen them in the past, I definitely believe that they just had a bit of a slower game last time. I do believe they're a very good team, and they've had some very good changes made throughout this tournament to the roster. They have Celestial playing on there now, who has shown us in the past that they are a very strong duelist player and a flex player in general. So in general, I have quite high hopes for them, but I can definitely see the game going both ways. I mean, DSS has definitely shown us that they're easily one of the best teams in this tournament right now.
Yep. 100%. And now you mentioned DSS. Now we watched these guys win their series by a total of 26-4 across 2 maps against Fanatical Radiance 2 days ago, Nick. In fact, this is one of the most dominant performances we had this entire tournament, alongside the Salvation versus Ultralight Academy playoffs match and the Celestial Titan versus Team ILH group stage match from over a month ago. Now, without a doubt, DSS Gaming look incredibly scary coming into this matchup, and I wouldn't want to be on the receiving end. But when it comes to the players, we mentioned how Trombone Man Noah was not in that matchup, but it didn't seem to matter at all. We have Draken on one side, who seems to play more of a supportive duelist, and then we have this guy right here, French Toast. I mean, he's the star duelist for DSS Gaming, and he was the MVP across both maps that they played in their last series, and we get to see him go up against Nakamura tonight. What do you think about that narrative?
I definitely believe it's going to be a close one. I mean, we've seen both players in the past, and I definitely believe that both are really potent players. I'm not sure which way we'll go, though, to be honest. I feel like it is honestly rather close.
Yeah. I mean, every single series that we see Nakamura play, he gets just so much impact, and he tops the leaderboard. I think what did he get, like 30 kills in the last matchup that he had in the last game that they played? So, like, I mean, Nakamura has put some really good stats on the board, Nick, but I'm going to be honest, DSS Gaming's games, that's a tongue twister, have been such a blowout so far that I feel like we don't get to see French Toast put up the same high numbers that we see from Nakamura. I definitely think he has it in him, though, because he shows the same impact from Nakamura. But I actually agree with you. I think it's a pretty close matchup between French Toast and Nakamura. And the reason that I talk about these two players in particular is because we've seen from this tournament, duelists really set the pace for all teams in this tournament. I don't think we see a lot of teams playing any no duelist comps, and they rely very heavily on that tip of the spear to actually be able to find them success in all of the rounds. And so I'm excited to see how that plays out for both teams. Now, from a leadership perspective now, for DSS, they did have Trombone Man Noah come back tonight, but he's going to be in the coach slot. But for the side of MINJI, they don't have that coach. Do you think that's going to play differently towards their chances?
I definitely believe it's going to have some impact. I mean, having a coach, a person who's watching everything from a third-person view for your team, being able to give you some insight, even if it's only 2 times during a match, can make a huge difference.
Yep.
Without a coach, you still have the timeouts, you can still use them, but it's more of just some time to take a step back, refresh, go back, and try to just have some extra time to talk or to calm down. But you just don't get that extra insight from that 6th person.
Yep. You're absolutely right. I think without that insight, sometimes it can definitely come to your demise. But folks, we are going to find out, as it is time to get into tonight's matchups and find out both teams that will be advancing to the upper final. Ladies and gentlemen, this is VLE Challengers Cup 2 Playoffs, Day 3. World of competition. Adrenaline is high, and you must do or die. Break through the fear when the end is near, and face your fight or flight. Fight for your life during the ascension to become a champion. Ready your weapons and rev your engines and get ready for the ride. This is Ascension.
Inside of me, you better watch out if your enemy's a road ahead of full prophecy to be the greatest beast the world has ever seen. I feed him every day like the bones clean. I feed him all the hate and he grows me, and he gets real big, pissed off quick. And if you cross him, you might drop dead. Metaphorically, of course, settling the score, never getting bored. Loves the blood and gold, always wanting more freedom from the source. They don't really understand until they feel it for the party. And if you start shit, you'll be hard lived in the darkness. Negative energy, I expect it. Once it's in your mind, it's infectious. So fight for your life and reject it. You better give me space, I'm protective. My adrenaline spikes when I'm threatened. And if you stay in my way, I'm aggressive. Cause when there's no exit, I'll kill when I'm desperate. When there's no exit, I'll kill when I'm desperate. And this world ain't right, won't accept it. Negative energy, I expect it. Once it's in your mind, it's infectious. So fight for your life and reject it. You better give me space, I'm protective. My adrenaline spikes when I'm threatened. And if you stay in my way, I'm aggressive. Cause when there's no exit, I'll kill when I'm desperate. When there's no exit, I'll kill when I'm desperate.
All right, MINJI versus DSS Gaming. It's time to get into the matchup here. So, coming out into this, as both teams actually came out of the group stage as top seed in their group, the Team A was actually decided by the wheel spin here, so it looks like DSS came out on top in that wheel spin. Lotus gets banned, Haven gets banned, and we're starting things off on Ascent and MINJI on defense. Nick, what do we think about this map, Vito?
Honestly, I feel like it's something that's sort of expected. I mean, we've seen the Ascent, a map that, I believe most of the teams we've seen in this tournament have been quite good on. We've seen the Sunset, which for some reason has been one of the most preferred maps this season.
Yep.
And I mean, lastly, we have the Abyss, which is that's just one that's kind of unexpected. I mean, we start the game going with the map veto with the Lotus band coming in from DSS, which I believe is the most logical one. I mean, we've seen the fact that MJ is really strong on Lotus, but have disliked Haven, which was the second ban. So I believe it's definitely an expected one. But I also believe that due to the maps that were picked, it's also going to be a really nice one to see.
Yeah, 100%. And I honestly, I think Ascent is a really good spot to start at, for sure. Coming into the agent select here, looks like we're going to get a look at what we get. Now, as you mentioned, actually, we have Celestial coming into the MINJI roster here for tonight, which is going to be really interesting to see what they play, because we've seen a lot of different things from Celestial, Nick, and I think you mentioned the word flex before. And so on Ascent, I mean, you play pretty standard roles. You always have that double initiator, right? Other than DSS, we see them play the Phoenix on Draken, which they did in their last matchup a few days ago, so no surprises here if he gets that Phoenix back out here. But Celestial, I believe we're going to get Celestial in the smokes tonight, because it's actually Taco Boy who usually plays onto that Omen. But Celestial, we might get the Astra here. Oh. I actually really like Astra on this map.
Absolutely. Yeah. And there we go, we have the double duelist from DSS with Phoenix and Jet.
Yep. They're playing with us. They're not playing that combo.
It's interesting how they say, but I do not believe that.
Yeah. There we go. The one thing that's intriguing is the Harbor. It's possible, but I think he's going to play KO here. Definitely expected.
Yeah, there it is.
Okay. Got a little bit close there, but there we go. Now that we have the agents all locked in here, both comps that we very heavily expected coming into this matchup. Nakamura on the Jet, French Toast on the Jet. We're getting that Nakamura versus French Toast that you and I talked about pre-game. And then, of course, Celestial on the Omen, which is actually a agent that we don't see Celestial on that much. So maybe a small adjustment for them. But coming into this matchup, I think that they will do it well because knowing MINJI, I mean, they put a lot of prep time and they work hard, to solidify their roles. So I definitely think that they'll be ready for this coming into it. Now, DSS. I want to get your thoughts on the Phoenix in this comp, because I don't think it was us two that was casting the DSS game. What do you think about that Phoenix? One of the things that concerned me at first when I saw it locked in was you don't really have that long-range usage of the flashes to support the Jet like you would on KO, and you also lose just a little bit of information that you would usually get with the 0 point, but otherwise, I mean, you can easily use your Blaze to get you towards longer angles and curveball through the wall, but what do you think about Phoenix on this map?
I feel he definitely has some potential. I mean, we've seen a lot, especially on the defense side towards A main. He's really good. He's also quite good towards B. But is an agent that definitely I feel like thrives on the defense half of this map. On the attack one, he's a bit weirder to play. Like, it's what you said essentially. He doesn't have that support utility as much as KO does to help his duelist go in. But at the same time, you do also have that double duelist going in, which can also be quite good, because you have Jet, who's a duelist that plays more towards taking space, while Phoenix, on the other hand, plays off contact.
Yeah. I mean, that's definitely a really good point. I think that Phoenix plays a really good role here. I'm not used to him in this particular comp. The last time I saw Phoenix played on this map, there was a Viper in the comp, and I know that with Viper, you can make a lot of space and move up with the walls, but you're absolutely right. The potential on this map is really good. And, I mean, the way DSS play it as well, they also make it look good, so I have no concerns here for Draken.
Absolutely. And speaking of Phoenix, actually, if I'm not mistaken, we have a Phoenix updates live this patch, don't we?
Yep, absolutely. That wall now goes through walls, and the curveball is now the signature.
Plus the heal change, which is also quite nice.
Yeah, true. Here we are coming into the pistol round here. It's going to be a full B hit for DSS. Lycra getting forced out by the Nano Swarms from stairs. Going to opt to move towards backside here. And I mean, Nick, this is starting off really fast right now. Coming right into the site, Lord Buckethead to open off the series with a headshot on to Lycra. And that is the anchor on the B site from MINJI. Taken down pretty early here. Frost able to follow up. Hoopa going to trade him out pretty quickly here. And right now, we still do have 3 left standing for MINJI going into the retake, but they're going to have to get a pick pretty soon, as all 4 DSS members remaining are bunkered down into this space. Right into the dark cover. There it is, going towards backside here, but they have to clear out this position towards close. He gets the first pick, gets 2, and that is it. Nakamura left for the clutch, but not able to get any down. 3 on the round for Bloodhunter, and that's a pistol converted for DSS.
I mean, I believe that is... I really like that decision from DSS here, and something you don't often see on pistol. I mean, most teams tend to prefer A on this map for the pistol round, mainly because of that Killjoy. Killjoy is an agent that can deal so much damage, and you have so much impact on a pistol round if you push her side, and she usually plays on B, just like we saw from MINJI. So instead, they decide to just run in and play very aggressively and just get those picks before she could get any value, and I mean, it worked really well for them, so...
You're absolutely right. I mean, another round where that recon bolt towards that tree is not getting shot out early enough, so they get the instant information that Hoopa is actually playing towards the site here. He's by himself with a classic. Hot hands do come through. He does some damage before he goes down, but nonetheless, not able to find maximum value here. Bloodhunter able to take him down. 1 left for Big Blue. Able to recover kill with classic there. Recovers the Bulldog, taking 1 down, but he's a little too wide on the angle. French Toast going to get the trade, and that's the second for DSS.
Some decent damage in. I mean, DSS is going into this round with pretty much 3 rifles. I mean, they have 2 Bulldogs, a Phantom, and they're getting like a few pistols. So definitely a good save from them, but also some rather decent damage coming in from MINJI. I mean, this is their buy round here. They might have a few half shields and a rechargeable shield, but I mean, they all have rifles. This is a round where they can very easily win. But there is also a round where they have to be really careful. Because this is a round that will have a lot of impact into this game if DSS is able to win it.
You're totally right, actually. This round right here, usually that bonus could be pretty decisive. If you win that bonus as the team with the lesser weapons, you actually secure some pretty big economy going into the game. But on the flip side, makes things a bit harder. Now, what I like about this tempo change, Nick, is it's not a full B hit. They actually take the Phoenix over towards A. You saw him invest a curveball around the one-way dart cover to try to pull some rotations early on, but they still come out for this B hit. I mean, so far, it's just such a masterclass from DSS. And we actually saw this value out of them from their first series there. Hoopa not able to do the damage on the Killjoy. And right now, we still have 4 left standing for DSS, but it's a double backstab towards mid that actually takes down Big Blue on his rotation over towards Market. Nakamura, Tailwind out into the Cloudburst. French Toast able to take him down with 3 on the round so far. Celestial looking for the clutch here, not able to find the shot. And 4 standing for DSS on their bonus round. And Nick, that's a pivotal one.
Absolutely, especially on the attack half on this map. I mean, this is the half that's supposed to be the hard one, and that pace change DSS just had was exactly what they needed. That late leg towards mid, as well as that tempo change. I mean, they slowly walked up B, drew some attention, and then they just immediately rushed on side and got those 2 picks without pretty much losing anyone.
Yeah. I mean, it looks like they're going to go for a B hit again. I mean, it's just this B side, they're just not scared of the KJ setup. The paranoia comes through immediately. There it is once again. That recon bolt just not shot out fast enough, and he gets wall banged. As soon as he reveals that he's there, Fragment goes towards main. And although that completely puts DSS at a halt, I mean, they still have an advantage and control in this round. And even Draken onto Nakamura. It's a bit of a regroup here. Now, what DSS are reading into right now, Nick, is we just took 2 gunfights and won 2 of them on the B site. And what is MINJI doing right now? They're on a save round. So they're thinking right now, Nick, we don't want to run into that B side because all 5 could be here with those close-range weapons. So they're coming over towards A to get that spike plant.
We do have 2 on A, though. They're already waiting heaven.
Yeah. Oof. Look, the double Aldrone come through. Aldrone spotting each other out. French Toast does get tagged, but Wallbang's not able to come through. And that shock dart did so much damage onto Lycra. And even French Toast right through the dark cover there with 2, then 3 on the round, and Draken as well. Flawless for DSS and looking still strong on this map.
Absolutely. I mean, considering we had got Haven now, this map definitely looks like it's a really good one for them. Even with a comp that definitely, I would say, has their flaws on the attack half on this map, at least.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, I mean, we're definitely going to have to see something different coming in from MINJI here. DSS is just setting their own pace and pretty much dragging their game in any way they want, which is just not what you want to see here. Especially at the start of a series.
Yeah. And I mean, in that pregame, I said MINJI, they're meeting their match today. And I mean, DSS are definitely showing that right now. Aldrone to clear things out over towards mid. Once again, we do get a different pace here. Nice and slow from DSS. They want to sniff out the rest of the setup on this map, but they still are gravitated towards this B space almost every single round. Big Blue over here towards Cat. Takes the first point of contact. Gets nervous. Nano Swarm gonna get shot out, but run it back. Coming over towards the B site. Hot hands over towards CT. Curveball around the hut. And Hoopa playing onto the site. Gonna be the first point of contact. Does take the run it back down, but the recon bolt follows up. And as he's preoccupied with that, Lord Buckethead's able to take him down from lane. And right now, once again, MINJI on their back foot coming into a retake in the rifle round. Now Phoenix from the run it back is still towards B main. And that's it. The paranoia was actually enough to blind Big Blue. Draken a bit of a whiff there, but the Sheriff able to follow up with things. And a 5th round for DSS in a row.
And at the same time, looking at this, that is also definitely a strength this comp has. sort of that they're running is the fact that normally when you play on Ascent and you have that KO plays a bit further back. While yes, you're with your team, in order to support them, you need to be somewhat safe. You don't want to risk being out with your U2 in the open.
Yep.
Instead with Phoenix though, you have to be closer up, which means that you're not always, or for, at least for a lot of players, you don't need your fifth player to be with you. I mean, Killjoy has just been moving around the map so freely with pretty much every single play they've ran so far. And they haven't had any problems with him. In that late mid over there got them a pick, which was so important for the round.
I mean, right there. I like the idea from MINJI. As soon as that tap goes onto the orb, they go for the flash and get a double fight from Wine and Main, but they just both get shot out. And it's those micros that you have to be able to win out if you want to take down DSS. And the Blaze over towards Heaven for just a second, mitigates that sight line, and Lycra looking to come into this one. Dart goes over towards the cannon, and reveals Lord Buckethead for a second. Nice shot onto his head there. Lycra already finding value with the Sheriff here, but Bloodhunter with the backstab towards Cat is completely mitigating this tree positioning, and Lycra, he's still landing some shots here, but not able to find the kills, and it's close there. I like the jumps from Draken. 6 on the board for DSS, and they're just running away with this.
Absolutely, and that's something you do not want to see on this map. I mean, here we have the timeout coming in. Definitely a very much needed one.
Yeah.
They need at least some break. They might not have that coach to get that insight in, like we said before, but they at least get some time to calm down a bit, try to recollect themselves and get back into the game. Because, I mean, normally on this map, you do not even want to give 6 rounds to the attacking team. This is definitely a map that is very heavily defense-sided. But yet instead of this game, so far, they have won the 6 first rounds of the game. I mean, I believe that for the best case scenario they could have right now is a 6-6 half, and that is if MINJI is actually able to find that missing piece here. Because so far, I mean, they're just... DSS is just running it down and running different plays each time. Essentially, they're just playing aggressively and grabbing those 2 early picks that just has so much impact into the round. I mean, you cannot lose 2 players in the first few seconds of the round.
Yeah. I mean, that's where one of the biggest falters are coming too. I mean, also Nakamura's having a hard time getting on the board. We're already seeing French Toast top the leaderboard right now. He's the match MVP so far. And we haven't seen any convincing openings from Nakamura, but it looks like this time around they're actually going to go for that Tiles trap play, and this was his first chance to do it, but that might have been a missed flash actually from Big Blue. It didn't look like it landed on anybody towards Tiles. I might be wrong there, but we'll find out when we go back and watch this match later on. But here we are. Take comes over here towards the B site. I mean, it's only Hoopa. Now, if he can do the damage, it'd be damn huge. There it is. First one comes onto the board looking for lane. He does get the second one looking for the third, but Lord Buckethead takes him down. And I mean, he's gotten 2 picks. He's done well for himself. But Celestial Draken is just playing with his food at this point. Oh my goodness. Wow, Frost just walks up for the knife kill. That is embarrassing. Oh man.
I mean, yeah, absolutely, and they just pretty much play that perfectly. They play like it's as if they were expecting that trap play towards Tiles. I mean, they immediately played aggressively and they grabbed those 2 picks. Pretty much exactly as I said before the round started, like exactly what you do not want to see from the side of MINJI, losing 2 players immediately, like not even 5 seconds into the round.
Yeah, and I mean, it looks like they understand at this point that DSS just love this B site. So a lot of members from MINJI here, but Aldrone come through, Fragment traded off with it. And once again, it's a much slower round from DSS here, Nick. Looks like they want to regroup over towards mid. They're trying to get a read of where this stack is coming through. They know MINJI is on a save round. This is how DSS handle every save round by their opponent. They played a little bit slower, they look for where the numbers are, and they try to regroup and find those holes. But it looks like that lack of presence towards B actually, it plants a bit of a seed of doubt from MINJI. And you see them already asking the question, was this stack wrong? You realize it is. And I love that DSS are exploring this mid space because this is one of the easiest spots to find out where that stack is. But Celestial, with that hero rifle, able to take down Lord Buckethead, and that does even things out in terms of the amount of players left for each squad. Now, while this plant comes towards A, Frost is left towards mid on that lurk, and he's actually able to take down Big Blue at market. So they have to be aware of this cat position actually later into the round. Celestial finding another kill here. And I mean, they've gone huge in this round, but it looks like they're very aware this KJ's got to be here. He was late towards mid, only 34 HP, but Nakamura takes him down. They're pushing right into it. The lockdown invested, but they get right through and they get all the picks. And Draken able to take it down. Celestial left in the clutch. Dark cover, sticking on to the spike, but Draken able to shoot through the dark cover to take down Celestial. And it was a really good attempt on that eco round by MINJI.
Absolutely, definitely a great attempt. But I also like to point out that I really like that way DSS played against that lockdown coming in. I mean, normally you'd expect them to fall back towards main, play safe. They planted D-Fort, a spot that is very easy to play post-plant from main. Yet they instead waited a few seconds, made MINJI think that they had a bit more space, and the moment they started focusing on that KJ, like, they ran through the door and got those 2 picks on Nakamura and Hooper.
Yeah.
You're dead.
Run it back towards A this time. We're seeing a full A commitment here. There it is. Dart comes out towards site. Nakamura still left onto the site. Shots not able to connect just first, but Lycra with the Guardian finding so much value and so many members for DSS actually falling. And Draken left onto the clutch there. Celestial with the Guardian able to close things off, and it's a quick recovery by MINJI.
And a very much needed one. I mean, as late as it is, any round they win here is really good for them, and as at least one small chance closer to actually going through this.
Immediate timeout, Nick, after they lose one round. Gotta love it. I mean, I'm not sure this is a timeout that's needed here, but I mean, DSS, they look to maybe make a regroup here. Maybe they're just going to go back to B, what worked before, but what do you think might be going through their heads here?
I'm not so sure, because I mean, we did see a very different approach from DSS coming over here. They ran towards A and they played rather aggressively, and I want to say almost carelessly here. I mean, we got that shadow step coming in towards Jen without any info there, and that led to Lycra getting 2 free picks early into the round. So we're definitely going to see this sort of pace stay from MINJI. But it's also not something I can exactly rely on, because there are also many mistakes made from DSS into that push.
Yeah.
So they definitely need to like see and find a proper pacing here, but they're definitely getting closer to it.
I mean, and French toast is being French toast. 10-2 right now. And what more could you really ask for from him? Now we're getting a similar look that we got from DSS on, I believe it was the 3rd round they did this. They had a bit of a default here. 3 over towards the B space. You actually have Draken watching this A main dark cover. Now, like this tempo, once again, coming out of a timeout. Might be expecting something a little bit different. Now, on this default, I notice it's usually Draken towards A that's going to take that first contact, and that actually enables one of the other extremities, right? And that's exactly what French Toast is doing. He's going for these picks over towards mid while they take that space up towards A main to see if there's any sort of reaction. So DSS have a really good look of how to play that push and pull when it comes to this map, and that's exactly what you need as well. Ascent, very default heavy map. I mean, you can go for those 5 stacks, but those defaults really are able to split up teams. Paranoia comes through. It looks like they suspect this tree space is getting taken. Still going through. Celestial caught out in the open, and Nakamura wasn't able to trade them out in time. And that's the plant going to come out towards A. Nano swarms towards heaven. MINJI back on their back foot coming out of the timeout here, but Nakamura finding that kill onto Lord Buckethead does open things up just a little bit here. Have Alarmbot onto the spike for the information. And what's nice here is, I mean, DSS can just play comfortably from A main. They don't even have to worry about anything. Even that wall can now go through that space and actually distort the view of anybody else that's going to try to get a tap onto that spike. But Bloodhunter, I believe that's actually where the From the Shadows went, towards Cat. And they weren't ready for that reposition. So everybody falls right there onto the site, and DSS handling that post plant very well.
And that's something we've seen so many times. I mean, they've also, what I also like is that they've consistently played post plant very differently. We saw them play really aggressively, and even after getting spiked down, trying to play for those picks. And we saw them play on site and trying to shut down the retake really early on as it started to happen. And then we see an entirely different approach, which is just sit back and wait A main and just play off the contact.
Yeah. Once again, nice slow round here from DSS. And that game plan is always to really control this mid space and make sure that we're checking out this B main. Do have that lockdown to come right on through. Hoopa and Big Blue trying to get away from the site. It actually looks like Lycra goes for the Hunter's Fury, but Draken catches him off guard. And Draken's always that player over towards A. You have to account for that at some point. Hot Hands doesn't force Celestial out of position.
Standing ahead.
Playing with the Judge, but that's a spike coming down over towards the B site. 4 still left standing for MINJI here on this eco. Or the awkward buy, rather. Now the counter Hunter's Fury coming in from Lord Buckethead. So far he hasn't found any damage, but I like that. He's trying to get ahead of the take. Draken with the run it back. I mean, he's got a few of that this half so far, but they try to push right on through to the Killjoy. And what's nice is they've checked off that box. They know someone's going to try to come into B main when we invest that run it back. So they actually keep the Killjoy there to get that kill right as he gets shot down. And DSS keep 3 members standing. And look, I mean, their economy tells the story, Nick. They are almost fully maxed out on 4 of their players. And coming into this, it's the last round of the half, and MINJI have to scrape for pennies here.
Absolutely. I mean, they're getting those 4 buys in. They do have those naps coming in from Jet. But there's just, I don't know, the pacing is just so much towards DSS's side. I mean, they're running the game as they want, and they have so much momentum going in here.
Standing ahead.
Once again, no surprises here. Mid and B for DSS, but Nakamura goes for that peek. He's able to confirm that information, but what's nice about this switch up from MINJI now is that he has that support here in that mid space. Lycra goes for the drone. Confirm it. Looking to fend things off, but Big Blue, he's just out in the open on the site here. Looks like he wants to play for stairs while Hoopa's going to play for main. And it's a really good setup, but from the shadows towards back site, Hoopa's able to recover 2 towards lane. Make it 3 on the round so far. And there's 4 on the round looking for the ace, not able to recover it. But Celestial does get the last kill from that from the shadows towards Boathouse. And that's the 2nd round win for MINJI.
Right here.
Definitely an unexpected half, I have to say. I mean, while MINJI did win this round, they're going into this half, I cannot imagine that their mental is the best. They're going into they have a really hard half ahead of them. Definitely one that they still can win. We've definitely seen MINJI, like you said, come back. While it might not have been this much of a difference, we've definitely seen them come back from situations that looked really unlikely. So I do still believe that they have a chance, though I am very curious to see how they decide to actually approach this.
Yeah, I mean, that's it's not how you want to start things off. If French shows how to it just takes Nakamura. Yeah. Ouch. Now, what's interesting about this, though, DSS, they don't have that KO. So DSS, or MINJI rather, can actually play comfortably onto the sites here. You see Bloodhunter holding his paranoia out for the take. I mean, that's it. A full cleanup for DSS. It's going to be really going to be difficult, honestly, for them to find the tempo in this if you are a MINJI. If you start off that half on defense and finding like almost no rounds there, how are you going to control the tempo here on attack?
That's exactly the problem. I mean, it's so hard, almost impossible. And I mean, losing this round just makes things so much harder for them. They have to play round against DSS's bye round with only classics, and losing this round means that DSS will have that 12th round. So after this, any mistake from MINJI will just cost them the game.
Spike down.
Yeah. I mean, that Outlaw coming into the bye, we know that weapon is so potent on those round 2s, especially if you have the economy for it. So French Toast, able to get lots of value out of the weapon thus far. Backstabbing, Cat guarding from Lord Buckethead. Get Chirico's here, and that's it. DSS capitalizing off the round there. 12-2 so far.
Match point.
And so much harder for MINJI here, because I mean, look at DSS. They did not lose a single person this round. I mean, they still have that Outlaw, which you might only it might not get as much value because they all have 4 shields except from Celestial, but it definitely still can. And then you still have an Ares, a Phantom, a Spectre, and a Guardian. It's, I mean, the perfect situation for a bonus round.
Yeah, this wine insert, they're gonna have to deal with this, and I don't even know if they're gonna expect it. They should. I mean, for as long as they've been stalled out by this one way, it's definitely a space they're going to have to clear. Smoke.
But look up
towards
Bloodhunter.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they don't account for it. He gets one and even gets a lot of damage onto the other, more than half of his health actually. I mean, this is the round right here. They could end things off right here on this first map. Lycra does grab a pick there, though. Tracking with the Ares. Takes one down. Only 2 left standing for MINJI. Make that 1 to recover things into this map. 12-2 so far. Celestial able to take one down on the flank. Looking for the clutch. Only 3 points left for that from the shadows, but I think Celestial's aware that both players are actually over towards A right now. This is a clutch much needed right here. It'll instill a lot more confidence into the MINJI players. Dark cover to make sure that they're not able to see him on the rotation towards B. And both players playing together. I mean, this is going to be a hard one.
Absolutely.
Plant comes through. Recon showing that actually not going to play towards the site. It's actually back boathouse. Paranoia goes through, but the wall distorts the vision, and there it is. DSS Gaming taking map 1, 13-2. So dominant from them.
Even though this was their map pick, that is such a good look from them.
Yeah.
Like, they just had the whole game going exactly their way.
I mean, and especially if you're MINJI, that is not the way you want to start the series, because one thing I do know about this MINJI squad, Nick, is that they do a lot of practice. You know, they do a lot of server time, and they do a lot of scrims. Now, on the flip end, I mean, from what it seems, and I've seen some of the players talk about this on DSS, they do scrim a little bit here and there, but not nearly as much as the other teams in this tournament. And I mean, the other thing about it, too, is there's not a lot of practice that I hear from DSS. I mean, they just have that natural synergy in the server. From what I know as well, a very mature squad of some of the older players that we have here in the tournament, relatively to their competition. So, I mean, they're playing to that intellect, and I feel like that is one of the big upper hands that DSS have in almost any matchup you can find them in this tournament, and a strong suit that they can really use as leverage against any team. And so, looking at this 13-2 scoreline on map 1, I don't see any chances for a series win by MINJI here. I don't know. What do you think?
It's definitely really unlikely. As we both said the other day, I definitely believe that DSS is one of the best teams in the tournament, if not the best right now, and for me, the most likely to actually win it. So it's definitely a hard game for MINJI. And I mean, losing the first map 13-2, no matter whose map pick it is, it's just so hard. Both for the mentor and just in general. Like, DSS just showed us that what we believed about them is actually true. They went against arguably one of the best teams in this tournament and just barely gave them any rounds.
Yeah. And what's also really dangerous about that too is, you said it right there, one of what we expect to be one of the best teams in the tournament, MINJI. A lot of people have MINJI making a deep run in their pick'ems. And I mean, if DSS is dismantling them that hard on the opening map, and I mean, MINJI had time to prepare for this as well. I mean, they showed us this comp already. And so it just becomes a little bit difficult in my mind to see a silver lining here. Now, going into the second map, I definitely think it is a good chance during this intermission for MINJI to once again regather their thoughts and think about the game plan that they have, because it looks like almost none of that came out in this first map here.
Absolutely. I mean, they lost their strong map, which was Lotus, but Sunset was their second map pick. I do definitely believe that they will show us a much better appearance going into this map. But I mean, I also wouldn't be surprised if the map has a similar look to how it did for Ascent, especially with how Ascent went. I mean, we talked about the difference, even looking at players specifically, something we talked about, French Toast versus Nakamura. I mean, French Toast was just having such a good game, and so was everyone on DSS.
Yeah. Even Frost. I mean, this is just going to be so difficult to come into it. But folks, we're going to cut it to a short intermission here, and we're going to find out if MINJI can come back into the series on Sunset, map number 2. So stick around. You won't want to miss it. All right, folks, welcome back to MINJI versus DSS. I am your host, Rebel, still joined by Nick in the caster's booth. We're moving things over to map 2. Ascent went DSS's way, 13-2, and they're now going to be starting on attack on MINJI's map pick of Sunset. Now, Nick, I mean, I'm looking at the predictions right now. We got 10,000 points on DSS and almost only 2,000 on MINJI. I mean, I think the chat agrees with us right now that DSS are taking this series away 2-0. But if there's any silver lining for MINJI right now, what would you think that would be?
I mean, we'll definitely just see like a big change going early into this game. I mean, if they don't have a good start, I do not think they have pretty much any chance into this game. They need to do the same thing DSS did in the beginning. Maybe even, they don't have to do it at that scale and win so many rounds, but they definitely have to win those rounds early on.
Mm-hmm.
They just have such impact into the half.
Yeah. No, that's a great word, by the way, impact. I want to actually piggyback off of that right there. So when it comes to impact, one of the biggest things we look towards are the duelist role. And so looking at these stats here from map 1, the French Toast versus Nakamura narrative that has been painted already on Ascent is that French Toast finding openings, 5 of them actually, and Nakamura on the flip side, 0. So there's no opening bloods that we can actually find that shows that there's any convincing, work coming out of that duelist role. And I'm not sure if that has to do with maybe Lycra or Big Blue not using that Sova and KO pairing well towards the Jet, or if it's just that DSS are that damn good. But I'll tell you what, right here coming into Sunset, I suspect that we're probably gonna get those Sova Breach Neon comps. Maybe we might even get like a Fade Breach, maybe a Gecko Breach, but I mean, that's something that's going to have to be figured out if you're MINJI here, because it's those initiators that's going to help Nakamura find those opening bloods.
Absolutely, I completely agree with that. And it's just, I definitely believe that DSS were hitting a lot of their shots and MINJI was kind of struggling with that.
Mm-hmm.
They did not just have that going, they were really struggling, but they overall, they had their moments where a lot of them were. I feel like the DSS just actually approached that game in the best way possible for that comp.
Yeah.
And that's definitely something that is really bad for MINJI, because it looks like they were just not prepared for it.
Yeah. You're absolutely right, and that's what makes it difficult as well. When you're not prepared against a team like DSS, or any team for that matter. I mean, there's some teams that we could say that, maybe preparation is not necessarily what's going to get you ahead. It's actually strong fundamentals, right? Especially in the nature of the low-elo scene. You have some teams that super duper love prep work. They do big scrims. They have, large strat books, and there's other teams that actually just come into the game and just call off the dome, right? And so you have to know what kind of team you're going up against in that regard, and I think DSS are a good mixture of both. There's maybe a small amount of preparation and a little bit of scrims that they might do, but on the flip end, I mean, it just seems like Lord Buckethead's leadership is just so good they don't have to lean on that so much. And so if you're going up against DSS, it's really not just about finding that preparation, but it's also about having strong fundamentals. And you mentioned it yourself, it looks like the shots weren't really hitting from MINJI, and that is one of the most, if not the most important fundamental in Valorant, is that mechanic, being able to shoot them.
Absolutely. And I mean, that's just how it goes. The thing is that DSS managed to get so much, dominance going into that game. Going into Sunset, they are starting on the attack half, which they showed us they are really good at. So you definitely just don't want to see that, or at least from MINJI's side, that's not something you want to see.
Absolutely, yeah. And I mean, we're also going to come in here, we're going to see the comps that we get out of both of these teams. I mean, it looks like we do actually have Taco Boy back into the mix for MINJI. Celestial was subbing in from their own roster, extended roster that is, but Taco Boy is back, and I think that means good things for MINJI. Not that Celestial wasn't the solution, but that Taco obviously has a better understanding of the system that MINJI play, as he is one of the leaders on the squad, and I'm sure he contributes a lot to writing the plays that they actually do in the server. So I'm excited to see the way that shift happens with Taco back in the mix.
Absolutely. Definitely excited to see how this change goes. Hopefully it goes for the best for MINJI. Because, I mean, they're a team that are definitely very strong and they have a lot of potential.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we just didn't get to see it as much going into that first game.
Yeah.
But at the same time, again, they're against DSS, and it is not a team you want to let them start getting way ahead when it comes to their mental.
Yep. Now looking at it here, Bloodhunter onto the Omen, Frost on Cypher as expected. I don't expect that Clove pick from Taco. I do expect him to be on the Omen here, but there it is. Probably gonna get some standard comps. Yeah.
To believe so.
A Neon Rays potentially. Which actually, as interesting as that is, we don't see that on this map almost ever. But it doesn't surprise me because it's DSS. We do see, like on most maps that they actually play, they do play Double Duelist. They played on Ascent. They showed us Double Duelist on, blanking on the map, Haven, I believe. They had the Yoru Jet comp. So, I mean, if they played Double Duelist here, it wouldn't surprise me. I haven't seen it before on Sunset. The Rays and the Neon usually use one or the other. But, I mean, it's French Toast and Draken, so what else to expect?
That's exactly what I was about to say, actually. While it's definitely... Sunset is definitely a map where, at least personally, I would not lean towards Double Duelist. It is French Toast and Draken, two players that have such good synergy together into that duelist role. And there we go.
All right. So we get the Breach Gecko out from MINJI, no surprises there. Hoopa onto the Cypher and Nakamura on Raze. Now, again, we were talking about, we had some high expectations for Nakamura coming into Ascent on that Jet role, and I still have those expectations coming on Sunset. I know he is so good at that Raze, and Raze, I would say, in my opinion, has a bit of a higher skill ceiling than Jet, but I think that Nakamura is really good at it. The movement is a bit harder with those satchels, but he shows time and time again that he is so comfortable with it that it doesn't even matter. And I think especially with the map and the Cypher changes as well, you can still find those potent early rounds. But on the flip side, Nick, I actually want to talk about this DSS comp. Although it doesn't surprise me because it's a Double Duelist that we're used to from them. How do you think this Raze Neon plays out? I mean, they're giving up that either Gecko or that Sova or that Fade information double initiator, so they don't have that forward initiating utility for that info like other teams do. And usually for me, I find that to be a struggle point when it comes to comps like this. So what do you think about that?
I'm definitely curious to see how this plays out, because the thing is that normally when you see a Double Duelist comp, the second duelist will be like a Yoru or a Phoenix, a duelist that has a lot of util to actually support his team, especially with flashes. Now on this team, they don't really have that. I mean, they have the Breach, but like as a secondary duelist, they have Neon and Raze. I mean, Neon, I guess, has that fast lane and the stuns going in, but it's definitely a weird one, in my opinion. But I mean, again, seeing that it's these guys, I definitely believe that I definitely wouldn't eliminate the chance that this comp works really well for them.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. I think that they play these Double Duelist comps very well. And, you know, I definitely expect coming into this one that we're going to see some really good set plays out of them potentially, because when you play things like this that you don't see on maps often, you have to have plans for it, right? And I definitely think DSS have some plans coming into this. And one of the things I talked about Neon, especially when we saw it picked on Bind the other day, is Neon can sometimes supplement a little bit of what Breach is able to give to Raze, are those stuns going forward, except Neon can actually go with the Raze fast movement and slide in and capitalize off of the same utility that the Raze does. So I expect some really aggressive fights from DSS this game.
Absolutely. And he will have it with the Breach as well.
Yep.
Which just, yeah.
He's got a lot of stopping power. Stun comes through. So early brawl over here towards the site, but I mean the relay bolt comes through, puts a complete halt to DSS. So far, pistol looking good. And the shots towards their backs coming through. Lord Buckethead looking to refight into this one, but I mean MINJI are completely sweeping DSS. And an almost flawless pistol round, a lot of damage done, but MINJI completely taking it away.
And I mean, that is exactly what MINJI was trying to do on Ascent. They were trying to play aggressive like this, and they were just not able to find that impact. And it looks like it actually worked exactly as they intended.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it is still the first round, so I don't want to say too much, but there's definitely a big difference coming in from MINJI over here.
Yeah. I definitely saw a lot of confidence in the way that they played that when they knew their game plan on that pistol round and played it very well as well. That's one of the things when it comes to these teams as well, Nick, is plan versus execution, right? Is you have a plan, but everyone has a plan until you get punched in the face. It looks like that round they punched DSS in the face. Speaking of, Dizzy comes right on through, lands onto Draken's face. And Big Blue goes with the mosh pit over through, forcing them right on out. Looks like they want to capitalize on the positioning. Big Blue able to take another one down. Nakamura with paint shells landing onto Frost. Lycra and Nakamura with the cleanup. And there's a quick second round win by MINJI.
Absolutely, and I mean, as expected as this win is due to their bye, they do get to keep a lot of guns. I mean, they keep 2 Bulldogs, they keep a Spectre. It's a loadout that at least has some potential to be turned into a bonus, which again can get them so much value. But again, this is against DSS, so definitely curious to see how they decide to approach this. Looks like they're doing exactly what you said, though. I mean, they're going towards mid here.
Yeah, and I noticed DSS love that mid space on most maps. But on Ascent, they prioritized B so much, and I mean, they haven't even gotten a single look at B yet. Looks like they love this A space. Draken able to take down Big Blue pretty early into the round, but look at this mid control by MINJI. Once again, it looks like they have a good sense of how they want to play this map. I mean, the cosmetic stun there. Lycra recovers too, though, with the Spectre. They actually take it down to a 1v1. This, even if DSS come away with this round, MINJI have done incredible damage on this bonus. Nonetheless, Lord Buckethead going for the plant over here towards A. And Hoopa looks like he wants to go for that flank. There's no sentinel left for DSS, so he's able to comfortably go towards this space. But he's confident that Lord Buckethead's nowhere near this main space. He's just running straight on through. Lord Buckethead gets the noise. Fault line in hand, does have 1 flashpoint to work with as well. No utility for Hoopa. He expects the CT drop down and almost gets the clutch by 5 HP of a difference. And DSS get away with that round by the skin of their teeth.
Such a close one, but I mean, a win nonetheless, like you said. This, I don't know, like it definitely shows that this is a map that MINJI has worked on significantly more than Ascent, and they're just playing really well. Even though there were a few things that were like, you know, like you said, like that stun going in towards mid and all that, but overall they're just approaching this map completely different. Like it almost looks as if it's a different team playing right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's a treat to see as well. I mean, no matter who you're rooting for in this matchup, you never want to see a team go down 2-13. So it's nice to see that MINJI, yeah. I like that they've recovered their confidence here, and it looks like they did exactly that during the intermission. And I mean, Nick, you and I both know as well, that mentality is so important, especially when you go down maps like that. You got to find that resilience.
Right there.
An odd look at this round for DSS. It's actually Draken taking the shots over towards B, but I mean, MINJI just aren't budging. Looks like they didn't even over-rotate towards the B space. 3 of them already over here towards A, ready for the retake, but Lycra getting away with his life there. Oh my goodness. Wait, Big Blue got a dink onto the raise through that wall and killed Lord Buckethead. I mean, so far, lots of value found from him, and like you said, the roster looks completely different right now. And Frost backs out of the angle instead of shooting the Thrash for his teammate on site. But the shots so far going their way. Taco Boy taps onto the spike, goes for the wide angle, looking for the clutch, and there it is. 3 on the round, and the clutch for Taco Boy, and number 3 for MINJI here. And already a better performance than they had on Ascent.
Absolutely. I mean, it looks like DSS is really struggling to get that value of to play as aggressively as they want. I'm definitely surprised that they have still not tried to head towards that B space. Which, speaking of, it looks like it's exactly what they're going to be doing right now. But I mean, it looks like they're just struggling with a few things, and it's pretty much what we talked about in the beginning with Neon and Raze.
Yep.
They're definitely lacking into a few things which they would normally make up with their aggression, but it looks like they're just struggling to capitalize off the util they're using and the space we're getting.
Yeah, and I mean, it's their first look at B, but there's kill trips all around. Hoopa almost getting that pick all the way from Market, but the overdrive comes through from Draken. Slide high gear over towards back sight, looking for another pick here, but Hoopa finds one of his own. Aftershock to go through, forcing Nakamura almost out of position there. And there it is, Outlaw in hand, looking for another shot, not able to find it, but Bloodhunter still towards CT. Overdrive, or Showstopper rather, forced out by Nakamura, but the shots not able to connect. And Lord Buckethead moves into the angle, takes him down, and a really good double peek. Finds value for DSS right now. Lycra left in a 1v2 clutch. He does have 2 flashpoints to work with here. Rolling Thunder and Neural Theft for DSS, but presumably not going to be needed coming into this. Looking for the first shot there, but oh my goodness. Bullets just a bit labored. And DSS able to get away with the Thrifty.
And I mean, that's the perfect situation for the round. I mean, this was, like you said, a Thrifty. This was a round that TSS was not going, well, at least was not likely to win. Yet it completely turns the tables around. I mean, DSS is the team going into this round with 5 rifles, and they're forcing MINJI back into a save round, a full save at that.
Ever since we talked about it, Nick, DSS are already just coming towards B. So many of these rounds. See the Showstopper out from French Toast. Ooh, little cheeky hiding there in the dark cover by Hoopa. Almost takes down French Toast, but does go down to the Showstopper here. Looks like they're going to create that 50-50 angle. Waiting for the rest of their team to rotate. MINJI, so far, taking it patiently coming into this. You see that Boombot clearing out towards the default space. Now that they know it's clear, comfortably exiting out from Boba. Mosh Pit coming onto the site, but Draken high gear right into his face. And Lycra left for the clutch. Classic in hand, not able to do the damage, and that's a 3rd round for DSS, and they're starting to recover.
Absolutely, and what's funny here is that as I talked about the fact that DSS was struggling to get that aggression going into this map, 2 rounds ago, that is exactly what they have done 2 rounds in a row. I mean, they've just played so aggressively and made it so hard for MINJI to even get in positions for a retake, let alone actually execute. And I mean, at this point, they're just the ones putting MINJI back in a position where they need to figure out what to change.
Yep.
MINJI isn't a very stressful rounder. I mean, it's a round that they cannot lose.
Yeah, and Lycra was the one left for the trade there, but I mean, that was handled well by him. I like that he actually prioritized going for that trade. He's aware that that player's 1 HP. Nakamura gave him those comms, so it does seem like MINJI have their comms in order here, but the take's actually coming over here towards the A site. Paint shells. Not landing in the right place for French Toast right now from the shadows. We have a really awkward round thus far. Hoopa playing around the dark cover on site. Looking for the player. Not able to land the shots with the Arcane Vandal, but Big Blue coming out onto the site. Bloodhunter taken down.
Spike down.
And it is Frost. Left on this lurk to come over towards A and get the clutch. Now Spike is towards that back safety position, so he's got a lot of space to make here, and he's got 2 players to run into before he's able to even lay his eyes onto that Spike. So this is a battle of gunfights, Nick. He's got to win both these gunfights if he actually wants to win this clutch here. Spike not in his
30
hands.
seconds left.
Looking for Big Blue. There it is. Shots go right onto him. The spray down is good. Cage comes right on through. He doesn't expect the second player over towards default. And Taco's played it so well, but what in the world? Frost turns around at the last second, Nick, and gets the clutch.
It looked like he was actually able to see Taco's arm, like his right arm, through that cage. Because, like, you know, there was that gap at the end where Taco was too close to the cage and was not able to see. Well, Frost could just see like a tiny bit more, and that was actually enough for him to just to see him first. And I mean, again, that is such a big round. I mean, look at the buy MINJI's getting over here.
I mean, there it is. That Breach Neon coming out. Breach stun comes through. Neon can just slide right on in, and this looks like they're really starting to like this B site. DSS, the moment they find that point of success, Nick, they just cling onto it. And this is the narrative that we saw on Ascent. So, like you said, DSS are actually the ones putting MINJI in the position to have to make an adjustment here. Success coming out onto the B site. Moshpit actually almost takes down French Toast, but gets away with his life. Shrouded step over towards the opposite position. 50-50 created back site. He comes right out of it. Aries able to land onto one, but Frost with the last 2 kills. DSS clean things up, and they are keeping a hold of this lead.
Absolutely, and that is something you do not want to see coming in from MINJI. I mean, you do not want to even risk having them get too far ahead here. Like, this is a round where normally I would say it is best to stop the bleeding, but for MINJI here, it's a round where they have to stop the bleeding.
That goes there.
And I don't know, I mean, they've definitely shown us that they can do it in this map. They just have to actually, like, find that missing piece here, because what worked for them in the beginning is just no longer working. DSS has adapted to it.
Yeah, that's so important too, adaptation. Valorant's not one of those games where you can just do the same thing every time, especially if it's not working. And the only reason DSS are able to do that is because MINJI are having a hard time acclimating right now. And once again, just in another round, MINJI forced to go for a retake here. DSS have the spike down, planted. Right into the angle. Frost able to capitalize here. And what I love about the way DSS play these post plants is that they spread out really nicely. But they're also aware this round that the Rolling Thunder is in the hands of Lycra. So they play off of the site. After shot comes through, forcing him out into the open. And you see the taps coming onto the spike. Thrash comes over towards main. Not able to land on him though. Takes the first one down. The spray through comes through, and French Toast able to get the clutch. 3 on the round, and DSS keep a hold of the lead and slowly continuing to create a bigger gap.
It's absolutely, like, such an impressive way to approach this. I mean, while yes, that Thrash came in and managed to get some value, DSS was so ready to immediately not let whoever pushed up even get close to get that second pick, or even barely manage to get the first one. I mean, this is a much needed timeout coming in from MINJI. They need to find what they need to change at this point, because again, they're going here into a round where they're gonna scrap a buy together, maybe with a few rifles, but at the same time, it's this point where you start questioning, is it a round where we want to actually get a few rifles in and risk going in with, like, smallest shields, a bit of missing util, a few guns that are not going to be rifles, or is it a round where we want to save and essentially just give it to DSS?
Yeah. Such a hard decision to make too, because I mean, timeouts like this is where you're planning what the eco round looks like and what the rifle round looks like. But you do have the awkward buy come through. Regen shield on 2 players, light shield on the other 2. I mean, they do have 3 Vandals, 1 Phantom, 1 Guardian, so it's not that bad on this round here, but I mean, look at their economy. 2 players down to 0 credits, 1 on 200, 1 on 50, and 1 on 100. I mean, the economy's not looking good. If you lose a round like this, you force yourself on an eco the next round, and your economy is still so low that next round, whether you win or lose it.
And something to point out here is that DSS has that showstopper coming in, and they're only one off that overdrive.
Yep.
I mean, there's a towards that, especially against a save round, can get so much value.
Yeah. Sometimes the overdrive actually feels better than a rifle.
Spike down B.
Absolutely.
Spike planted.
French toast. Playing towards spawn. Not able to connect the spray transfer, but right now, I mean, MINJI have done good work of this. Dizzy getting ready to come right on through. Blood Hunter shoots it right on out. Able to grab the 2 picks. I mean, he's done his job. That's exactly what DSS needed in those picks, but on the contrary, this is not good for MINJI. Lycra's got to find the clutch here. If MINJI want a better chance coming into this one, but utility comes out. Blood Hunter playing with his food just a little bit. And there it is, a 7th round on the board for DSS.
Get me in the line of fire.
I don't know, I mean, this is looking so hard for MINJI. They have some rather important ultimates coming in here. I mean, they have that showstopper, but looking over towards DSS side, they have that Rolling Thunder, they have From the Shadows, they have Overdrive. It's just like MINJI has definitely shown us, as I said before, that they're a really good team and that they really have a chance on this map. But what they seem to be struggling with is not how good they are as a team, but how good they are at actually adapting to a team just simply playing really aggressively and playing off how good they are mechanically.
Yep. So well said. And over towards A. Saw that gunfight go their way. I mean, that is a rifle recovered for MINJI. If they can reposition over towards this B side quickly, they might be able to go for this clutch, but I mean, it might almost be just worth saving the weapon here as well. And only 2 of them left standing. And their economy doesn't look too good going into this. And I mean, we're approaching the end of the half here as well, Nick, so that's going to become a whole lot more important.
Absolutely, we're getting way too close to the end here, and you want to win as many rounds as you can. You have 2 rounds left here.
Last player standing.
It just didn't seem decisive. I wasn't sure if they were trying to go for that retake or not, but nonetheless, they do have the economy coming into this last round here with respect to the regen shield on Taco Boy. No issues there, as we're not going to get any outlaws or anything cheeky from DSS. Full rifle round for both teams. Now, I mean, if you're MINJI, this is a round that you just need to recover, because we saw on Ascent, Nick, the moment that DSS run away with momentum like this, the game is over. So you got to recover this round and win pistol in the next half if you want to come back into this.
Absolutely. I mean, again, you do not, like you said, and like I've said so many times, in pretty much every game, you cannot let your enemies get momentum, especially in a game that is actually like quite stressful. I mean, they're playing against a team that is really good, and especially looking at how Ascent went, it's just expected that they're so much more stressed and struggling, and at this point, it is starting to show. And losing rounds like this, or even giving DSS a chance to get this momentum, just makes it so much harder on them.
Cover going out.
Yeah, and we have this plant coming over towards the A side. I mean, a lot of damage being done so far. And as I say that, Draken pushes through, takes down Hoopa, but it is a man advantage from MINJI right now. Might be a round that they can recover here. Overdrive comes out from Draken. Looking to turn things around here. Towards the backside there, just completely deletes Big Blue. Right over top of the box here. Shrouded step onto the site, but the shots almost not landing there. Blood Hunter taking him down. Not aware that the positioning's right behind him, coming around the box, and there it is. Lycra able to confirm the 4th round there for MINJI. And they've done exactly what they needed to close things off in this half, and they're looking to recover coming into this pistol.
I mean, yeah, that's exactly what they needed going into this round. I mean, they needed this win, and as much as this half definitely did not really go their way, I believe that this is the half that they would be better at. I mean, we've seen MINJI, their attack half is definitely their best one. They like playing aggressively. They play together well, and especially in a map like this, I definitely believe that if they have a good chance on any half, it would be this.
Yep. And it is time to find out. Looks like the game plan here is to have that Cypher space over towards A. With full information. And 4 players over here over towards B. With 2 defending that market space. And I actually like this from DSS. Looks like they're already aware of MINJI's pistol round tendency. It's a lot of mid control taken here. Aftershock to fend off the space for now. But it looks like they force out a lot of utility, which is really good from them. That's a box checked off in that early round. Now they can comfortably move into the mid round, while DSS don't necessarily have access to some of those key cooldowns. Paranoia goes a little bit too high there from Taco, but nonetheless coming onto the site here. Wingman going for the plant. And no cheeky kills there from Falls. He actually almost took down that Wingman, but gonna go into this retake here. Right now we have 2 over towards the CT main position. Bloodhunter looking to open things up, but Hoopa from the secret spot able to take things down, but a quick trade comes right on through. And once again, it just makes it so difficult. Nakamura finds his first pick, but they're on to the spike. He's gonna have to get it. Second on the board, but it's still coming through. And he didn't even have the paint shell in his hand to go on to the spike, so they get away with the round there. DSS diffusing right in their face, and that is the pistol round their way.
And I mean, again, such a strong start into the half. Going in together like this, just getting those first picks, getting that defuse, and I mean, heading here, it looks like this a round where, again, it's definitely going their way. I mean, going into here with a buy, they have quite a few weapons here, and then MINJI is over here with only 1 sheriff.
Similar setup here. Actually, the same setup by DSS here. Breach and raise towards that market. You have Neon on B and Omen towards top mid. So it looks like, just like almost every other team on this map, Nick, DSS are just playing for retake on A. And I mean, pretty soon MINJI are going to catch on to that and start to explore this A space a lot more. But this is their chance to play with that conditioning, though. Come over towards A, get these free hits down, get the spike planted, and then start exploring that base space once they force DSS to make a change. This is the round that they can kind of diagnose that. But as they come into it, looks like A is a bit dangerous. They took too long to get onto the site, and so DSS are fully collapsing in on them from every angle. 10-4 right now for DSS.
And I mean, giving just no chance to MINJI to move as they want. It looks like they had this sort of a read and they started rotating a bit earlier, and then instead of just going for the retake, they played a bit more aggressively than you would have normally expected. But I'm just curious to see, does MINJI actually catch up with that fact? Because if you look at DSS, it looks like they were actually doing exactly what you said. I mean, they have 4 players playing towards A, and it looks like both their Neon and the Rays are going to play really aggressively.
Yeah, I mean, DSS just have a read. They are reading the glossary right now. Come out towards this B site. Frost not able to land the shots with the classic onto Wingman, but Spike gonna come through. Aftershock just a bit late. So, plant gonna come down for MINJI. Wingman recovered, but I mean, it's a fast flank by DSS here. Ooh. French Toast comes into the angle though, but Taco Boy takes him down. Bulldog of Draken landing down, but has to go for the reload as he's out in the open, so gonna get punished there. Stinger comes through, and there's the flash towards main to help him get the positioning. And the cage wasn't enough to mask the defuse there. Lord Buckethead goes down to Big Blue, and that is a round recovered by MINJI.
They definitely have much better look. I mean, the moment they had that aggression towards A, it looks like they were actually kind of ready for that play from DSS, as unexpected as I would say normally is. Looks like the moment they heard that noise towards A, they fell back immediately And I mean, that made such a big difference into the round. They barely got away, actually. They almost lost 2, if not more players to that aggression towards A.
You can see how this dynamic setup by DSS is making MINJI really work for these rounds and think. The paranoia is really high from Taco there, but nonetheless, they're not looking to push in on that, so no harm, no foul. Now, Lycra does take down his opposing Breach. So coming into this, I mean, that is utility.
Spike planted.
It's usually pretty pivotal coming into retakes, especially on this map, but you still have that Neon. It's able to get those stuns as well, but I mean, French Toast. It's again, Big Blue right out in the open. The paint shells goes towards that right side. Lycra not gonna have to move because the AoE is not quite in his space. The flashpoint comes out pretty early here. Odin in the hands of Draken looking to push right on through. And they're very wary of the positioning now. The spams come through, takes them down, but they're sticking on to the spike. They're gonna have to spam it! And they defuse right in front of them! DSS getting away with murder! 11-5 right now, and that is not how you want to go down in that round.
Absolutely, because not only did they lose the round, but they actually all died there. I mean, that is actually the best case scenario for DSS. Normally, you just hope you get lucky enough to get the defuse. Yet not only did they get it, but they actually managed to kill the last 3 players remaining in those 5 seconds before being taken to the next round. I mean, we have another, like, weird buy coming in from DSS here, but also from MINJI. They have that Spectre. They only have 4 rifles. They do have that overdrive as well coming in from DSS.
Right out in the open. I mean, French Toast still able to take one down. And even Draken with his quick reposition over towards mid, but Nakamura with the showstopper.
One enemy remaining.
Overdrive still able to take him down, but Nakamura so far with 4 on the round. I mean, he's looking for the ace. And these are the heroics that they need to win these rounds. There it is. Ace for Nakamura. And the clutch to come right on through. 6 on the board. Able to get the spike plant as well with that. So slightly recovering the economy for the side of MINJI.
I don't know. They're definitely a much better look. I mean, they cut it really close. And I mean, it was just so hard for them. And again, they just won it by like a few split seconds, but definitely a better approach for them, and they are forcing DSS on a save round. Well, MINJI's also definitely not on the best round, the best play possible. Definitely have the gun advantage.
Yeah. And what we just saw, Nick, was just very uncharacteristic from DSS. Draken just walks around the corner towards main with his stinger in his hand, just gets taken down. And the Cypher with his knife out as he tries to run away as well. So DSS not with a clear idea of how they want to handle this round. So MINJI able to capitalize off of the mistakes by DSS. Thrash gonna get recovered, but not needed. Taco Boy with 3 on the round, and they still recover things 7-11. And MINJI, they're starting to make a bit of a comeback here.
Definitely looks like they're looking a lot more coordinated than they were before. I mean, the game's definitely getting closer. 7-11 is not that bad. But at the same time, they're in a situation where they do not want to lose this round. They do not want to give DSS that 12th win.
Mm-hmm.
And they're now on, at least, actually, DSS are on much better terms. I mean, look at them. They're getting, it might only be by 1 rifle, which we might even see replaced. We might see MINJI throw away that stinger and replace it with an actual rifle. But looking towards DSS's side, they have that neural theft, they have Rolling Thunder, they have From the Shadows, and they also have that showstopper. on MINJI side, I guess they're sort of close to Rolling Thunder, and they have from the shadows, but they have DSS has such impactful ultimates going into this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, a showstopper of Rolling Thunder, Neural Theft, and from the shadows to go on top of that. We are 2 away from Rolling Thunder on MINJI, though, so presumably maybe this round gonna spend some time trying to look into that, but we're gonna get closed. And they are taking this nice and slow. MINJI, they're looking for blitz plays from DSS. Are they gonna try to push into us? Anticipate something just a little bit different coming out of that timeout there, but looks like DSS are standing their ground. Now, I want to take note to the setup that DSS had here. It's very similar to what we got on the first and second round of their defense this game. Except the Cypher leaves the Neon with the utility over towards A, and he's here towards B to assist. Rolling Thunder comes out on the side as they try to exec, and there's the Rolling Thunder we talked about. French Toast able to take one down, make it 2. Showstopper getting value out of this one. The paint shells follow things up. Lycra on the angle trying to get the trade, but it wasn't working out for him. Now Draken's already on this flank with the Odin in hand, and he hears the flank coming through, the Neural Theft to further confirm things, and he takes down Taco, completely unaware of the chances that someone is in their spawn. I mean, Draken is still making good work of this, and Hoopa is able to take him down, but there are 3 left standing on the opposing side for him. And Frost has already made it around towards mid. And he doesn't even have time to even recover the spike and go for a plant. He's just going to have to save here inevitably.
My eyes are better than yours.
Match point.
And I mean, I don't even know. That was, again, such a rough round. I mean, DSS, the way they played this was definitely as unexpected as it possibly gets. I mean, Draken's positioning there, and even the U2 left by Frost towards A, caught MINJI completely off guard. I don't even know, like, I definitely, like... Again, it's definitely a game where MINJI has a chance, but this 12th round is such a rough one for DSS to get.
Yeah. I mean, this is their last chance in this right here. Now, as I said before the series started, I do believe that DSS are the favorites to win this one here. And it looks like that's the narrative that we are getting right now, but I think on the second map, MINJI have definitely given us a lot more of what could have been expected out of the score lines. But here we are. It's not over yet. Coming out onto this A site here. MINJI looking to stay into things here, but coming right onto the site. Frost slips right through the cyber cages, able to get one. The rest of his team recovering as well. Lycra going down. Gets one for his troubles, though. He's alive and well over here, over towards Elbow. Great hit coming right on through, but Draken with the ADS and the Phantom takes down Taco Boy coming into the angle, but the stun wasn't it. DSS 13-7, 2-0 in the series, and that's victory.
And such a dominant one. I mean, again, we said in the beginning that we both believe DSS is one of the best teams in the tournament right now, and one that is very likely to win.
Yep.
Yet they actually proved both of us right. I mean, winning against MINJI 13-7, and then the first game having 13-2 is just like absolutely insane.
Yeah. I mean, that was... and after the game is over, Draken just says, "See you in finals." I mean, that's just a testament to the confidence that they have on DSS. And honestly, it's well placed. They deserve it. So
absolutely,
well done.
And they've proven it.
They have, yeah. They've proven themselves for sure. Now, I want to give props to Nakamura here, though. They go down this map 7-13, MINJI, but he still comes out with that match MVP. So Nick, I think it's definitely safe to say that although we didn't really get that much of a performance out of him the first map, and we had a lot of critiques about that, he definitely recovered in this second map here and showed us what he gave us before.
Definitely, we saw a much better performance, and I mean, they did even get the MVP going into Sunset. I mean, like you said, his race is definitely very good, and he's definitely very good as a player in general. I mean, I believe that from MINJI in general as a team, they delivered a lot more, and they actually showed us that they have like a lot of potential. I mean, especially considering how Ascent went, I do definitely believe that this was still a very good comeback from MINJI. I mean, again, losing 13-2 on any map, no matter if it's your map pick or not, it's just so hard mentally for them, for anyone. And especially seeing that DSS managed to start getting ahead in that first half, I am still actually kind of impressed by the way MINJI came back and managed to at least bring the game a lot closer.
Yeah. I think that that's really good for sure, because I mean, a lot of times if you go down in that first map, and we've seen that happen here in front of our faces, Nick, you go down on that first map by a wide margin the way that they did in this series here, and second map becomes a whole lot harder, because all that's on your mind is, I'm down in this map 1-0, or sorry, down in the series 1-0, and we lost that map 13-2. So I mean, you know, what confidence can you even extract at that point, right? That's the most important narrative for any team going into something like that, and I definitely think that for MINJI, I can definitely say that they were successful in that, at least, if there's anything in this series, is recovering going into the second map and playing to the game plan that they had.
Oh, absolutely. They definitely looked so much better going into Sunset.
Yeah. And I mean, also looking at the leaderboard here as well, I mean, look at how many assists there are on the side of DSS. There's still a lot for MINJI, but look at this. I mean, there's 11 on Lord Buckethead, 11 on Blood Hunter. You have 6, 5, and 6 towards Frost Dragon and French Toast. I mean, all of them finding really good ways to help each other as a team. But on the flip side, MINJI got a lot of good first bloods here as well. I mean, Nakamura came out of Ascent with 0 first bloods. At least he got 3 this time around. He even had an ace this game. And Big Blue with 5 of his own. I mean, it's really good from them in terms of that turnaround. And so, for sure, they have shown a lot of resilience in the series here. Now, they're moving down into the bottom bracket off of this loss, Nick, and they're going up against the winner of Times and Ultralight Academy. Do you think that MINJI can beat both of those teams?
I have to say that I definitely believe that there's a chance whoever wins between those teams can beat MINJI, but I definitely believe that from what we've seen so far, MINJI is a lot more likely to win that game. Like you said, as it was said in the end game, MINJI is a team that is very likely to make it back up through the lower bracket towards the finals. But I mean, honestly, at this point on, or at least from the next matches going into the actual lower bracket, I can definitely see any team coming back.
Yeah, 100%. And because it's not the first round it happens, it's the second round of the 8-team playoffs bracket where you actually get the bracket flip. So they don't go down to go up against Celestial Titan or Fanatical Radiance so that they avoid that rematch. They're actually going up against one of Times or Ultralight Academy. But I definitely agree with you that MINJI could definitely come out on top in that lineup. What makes me nervous is Times, though. If Times win that matchup against Ultralight Academy, I'm definitely nervous for MINJI because I definitely think that's a matchup that Times can win. But no matter what, I think MINJI at least shown from this series here that they can be resilient. Now, on the flip end, this means DSS, Nick, move into the upper final, and they are one step away from the grand final at this point. They're right there. And so this means they're going up against the winner of the second game tonight, which is Red Panda Gaming versus Salvation. And that, I mean, that's definitely going to be a way closer matchup than this one. I mean, Salvation has shown us a crazy scoreline against Ultralight Academy. Matter of fact, they showed us the same scoreline in that series that DSS showed us against Fanatical Radiance, 26-4. And so I definitely think that maybe going into the matchup later today, Salvation could be favorited for that one just based off of recency bias and momentum. But Red Panda Gaming, definitely a very strong squad. But do you have any predictions for that one?
Definitely a questionable one. Like again, both teams are good, like you said, but Salvation has also shown us just really good games. Again, both teams definitely have a lot of chances, but I'm not really sure. Like, I can't really tell. Again, I believe that for most matches right now, I can see them going both ways. Like, we're at a point where I believe that if not all, at least most of the teams are actually really close to each other.
Yeah. I would agree with that for sure.
I can't really tell I have like at least a prediction that I'm like sure about.
Mm-hmm. No, I totally agree. I don't know. I don't know if I can predict that one either. That's a really hard one to predict. Maybe I think I got to give it to Red Panda Gaming here. I'm sorry. I know Salvation just had such a good series in their first playoff match, and I mean, especially Wildex turning up. There's some rumors that actually that Wildex may not be playing in that matchup. I'm not entirely sure if that's true or not, but if it is, I mean, Salvation are losing a really pivotal player, and that just brings the chances for RPG up even more. But if Wildex is playing, and I'm not saying that he's the only player that can swing that team, but I mean, we've seen it. He's definitely a big player for that team and a pivotal point of their success. So if he's playing, I definitely think Salvation are going to win. If Wildex isn't playing, I'm not sure. I think RPG can come out on top. But then the last question to ask here is, can DSS beat either of those rosters? What do you think about that one?
I mean, with looking at how DSS played this game, I believe that they definitely can, and I would probably be leaning towards DSS winning. Again, we are at a point where I can't be sure about it, but I mean, they've just shown us that they're such a good team. And looking at this, they can't even, like, they're a team that they've shown us that they're really, really strong on multiple maps, to the point where, like, thinking from a team that would go against DSS, I am not so sure what map I would look towards banning against them.
Yeah.
Because like you said, they showed us a really good potential on Haven.
Yep.
Which is why seemingly MINJI decided to immediately ban it. Yet going into Ascent, they beat MINJI, one of the teams that originally were considered to be the team that will 100% win this.
Yeah.
To just lose 13-2.
Yep.
So I don't know. I mean, DSS has definitely proven a lot of the people here wrong.
Yeah.
And 100%. I mean,
100%.
today they proved exactly what we said before the match. I mean, they just showed us that they're a team that is just looking scary into this tournament. Like, it's a team that, if I imagine Lighting playing against them, I would definitely be like doing a lot of research and trying to prepare as much as possible.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, too, before the tournament even started, I just had a feeling. I don't know what it was. I had a feeling. I knew DSS were going to be this good. I just had a feeling, and they are definitely showing it right now. I really wish we were able to get that DSS versus Zeta matchup back in the group stages, because that would have been so entertaining to see who would have come out on top of something like that. But folks, that ends things off of DSS versus MINJI here, and we're moving things to Red Panda Gaming versus Salvation later. We're going to go into a very lengthy break here, as the team is not scheduled to be ready to start the match until 8 p.m. EST, so we will see you on the other side. Stick around.